Good evening, everybody. I'd like to nominate Aaron Gensel to preside as temporary president over the Mount Lebanon Board of School Directors for the reorganization meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Or do we?
We can just say aye.
Or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Mrs. Gensel.
Okay. Do I gavel this in? We are here on Monday, December 2nd, 2024 at 7:32 p.m. in Mount Lebanon High School, room D205, for the reorganization meeting of the Board of School Directors. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Here.
Mrs. Crable?
Here.
Ms. Fleischer?
Here.
Mrs. Gensel?
Here.
Ms. Guth?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Ms. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Weiland?
Here.
Mrs. Gelman?
Here.
All right. At this time, I'd like to hear of any nominations for the election of president to serve for 1 year.
I would like to nominate Valerie Fleischer.
Second.
And I believe I can say all in favor?
Oh, there are them.
Or are there, I'm sorry, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity for us to think about, the direction of the board for the next year, kind of what we see in terms of goals, in terms of how we function as a board. Just thinking it's worth some conversation before we just go ahead and vote.
Okay,
If there's any thoughts.
sure.
Sure, I have lots of thoughts of why I nominated Ms. Fleischer. Sorry, I should have prefaced with those before saying I was nominating her. But yeah, I mean, it's really a challenging job, and she's shown time after time again that she's very committed to the school district and has great ideas and is a great thought partner with Dr. Freeze. And I mean, she's been an incredible asset to all of us this past year and the past 6 years. Is that right? 5. So it would be that's why I think that it would be a great, incredible opportunity for us to have her continue to lead.
I would just say that, having been vice president for just 1 year, the time goes very fast. I feel like 1 year isn't enough time to really, even though I think Mrs. Fleischer has done a fine job at being president, that I think it just went so fast, and it's not quite enough time. So I think a 2-year, a second year would be a good thing.
It's definitely been a year that had unexpected challenges in it and things that you had to navigate and do and think of, and things that were a surprise. Some of the goals and things that we talked about in August, we might want to revisit after we vote and so forth, and bring those back up to the forefront in terms of board direction, board goals, communication, and things that, when there's a fire, we're putting out a fire, but on a regular day, I think that the whole board, all 9 of us, would benefit from better communication among the 9 of us.
I guess I would follow on because Claire, Aaron, and I are probably, other than Jake, worked with you the longest. And I appreciate your commitment to the district, as well as being able to navigate through the administration. And you did take part in some of the most challenging times, not only through COVID, but as well as the hiring of Dr. Freeze, the change in our financial directorship, as well as navigating through the teacher's contract, which is significant because we appreciate our educators so much. And I think you've done a great job. And I know I agree with Erin that a second year is warranted to see how much further you can go with this commitment.
So this should be a breeze. Second year.
Yeah, next year's really easy.
Well, I would just like to say, to Mr. Hoffman and Mrs. Burdick, heard in terms of taking a moment, a necessary moment to reflect. The vision of the district is one of continuous improvement, and I think as the board of the district, that should be where the outlook we take as well to our service, to the district, to our relationships with each other and with Dr. Freeze and the administration and with the community we serve. So, if elected, I would be honored and humbled, and would strive to sort of take stock and work together to achieve some of the goals that we started to lay out with each other sort of earlier this fall.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Then I believe, as I mentioned before, I think we can do an all in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now do we switch seats, or do you?
Yep, congratulations, Mrs. Fleischer.
Do you mind if I leave my card over there?
No, same.
It's my assumption of office or chair, and thank you for bearing with us. This is a wonky one on the school calendar. I'm now opening the floor to nominations for the election of vice president to serve for 1 year.
I would like to bring forth for nomination Ms. Brenna Crable for Vice President of the Mount Lebanon School Board. Brenna, during her short tenure, has shown not only compassion and commitment, but the ability to work across all aisles of the community, our school district, as well as with the sports activities, especially involving Uriah. She has committed herself to our community and working with our commissioners and the Parks and Recreation Department and Development and ensuring that our community has the amenities that it so richly deserves and that they are brought forward and put out into the world so our constituents can enjoy them. I believe she represents the ideals of many of our students who are diverse, and she also helps to strive to make sure that their voices are heard throughout the administration and through our policy work, and to make sure that there is equity and equality and inclusion across the board. Thank you.
Second.
Any additional nominations?
I don't have an additional nomination, but I just wanted to say that, just for the record, that I would have really enjoyed continuing on as vice president, but because I'm not going to be running again for school director, I feel like it's important to have somebody in a position that will be continuing on, so.
Very much appreciated, Mrs. Gensel. Other discussion of the nomination? Or you just scoot
I'm just
down?
getting ready to vote.
Okay. Then the floor is closed for nominations. All those in favor of the election of Brenna Crable to the office of Vice President to serve for 1 year, say aye.
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 Any opposition or abstention? Okay.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much. Very excited to get to work. It is a passion of mine, coming from higher ed and K through 12 and having an opportunity to work alongside Dr. Freeze and have some movement for our district. I'm very excited. So can't wait to get to work. So thank you all.
Thank you.
No. Okay, I'm good. Just assume we're good.
All right, you just you.
Okay, we're now at the portion of our agenda for comments from residents and taxpayers concerning action items for this meeting. Presentations or comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. Just as a reminder, there are 2 action items for the meeting. One is adopting a board meeting schedule for the year, and the other is the appointment of the solicitor. So this comment period would be for comments particular to those items, and there'll be an additional opportunity for open comment at the end of the meeting. Anyone want to comment on action items? Anyone online? All right, and then now we're up words. New business for board consideration or action. The first item is the monthly meeting schedule. Mrs. Gelman, would you read the resolution, please?
Sure.
You can say as listed if you would like with the dates.
I move that it be resolved that the Mount Lebanon Board of School Directors adopts the following dates for regular monthly meetings for the remainder of the 2024-25 school year to be held in room D205, Mount Lebanon High School. January 27th, February 17th, March 17th, April 21st, May 21st, and June 16th. Other open meetings of the board will be held on the following dates for the remainder of the 24-25 school year in room D205, Mount Lebanon High School, January 13th, February 10th, March 10th, April 7th, May 12th, and June 9th. Location pending change if necessary.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, questions, or comments? Okay. Just as a note for the board and the community, this is a slight change in practice. We are adopting dates for the remainder of the school year, and then we will switch to voting on the board calendar to align with the academic calendar, since that's really aligned with the cycle of the business that we undertake. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick?
Aye.
Mrs. Crable? Aye. Ms. Fleischer?
Aye.
Mrs. Gelman?
Aye.
Mrs. Gensel?
Aye.
Ms. Guth?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Weiland?
Aye.
Okay. And the next item of new business is the appointment of the solicitor. Mrs. Burdick, would you mind reading the resolution, please?
Sure. I move that it be resolved that Jocelyn Kramer be appointed school board solicitor for 1 year.
Second.
Questions, comments, or discussion? I would just like to introduce Jocelyn Kramer to my right. She is not a stranger to the school district. She's served the district as special counsel for labor, as special counsel for the past several months in preparation for this transition, and also lives in the district. And do you want to say anything to introduce yourself as well before we officially vote? Just in case.
I just want to say thank you. I am so excited to be working with the Mount Lebanon School District. As a resident, I obviously care very deeply about the district. You've been great to my children over the years, and I can't wait to get to work and, help enhance all the great things that you do already. And I also love policy work, so I'm excited to dig in there as well. So thank you for putting your trust in me and my firm, and we can't wait to get to work.
Any additional discussion, questions, or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick?
Aye.
Mrs. Crable? Aye. Ms. Fleischer?
Aye.
Mrs. Gelman?
Aye.
Mrs. Gensel?
Aye.
Ms. Guth?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Wyland?
Aye.
Excellent. All right. We are now at the point of the agenda for questions or comments from residents. Presentations or comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. The public comment period is open to residents and taxpayers regarding matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which are or may be before the board. All commenters should begin by stating their name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and we will notify commenters when their time has expired. Questions requiring follow-up will be referred to the administration for later response. Comments by public participants are their own and should not be assumed to be the statements of the district. The Mount Lebanon School District is committed to providing a safe, inclusive, and welcoming school environment that recognizes and celebrates the diverse identities within our community so everyone feels a sense of belonging. And I should note for anyone, there is a sign-in sheet and a question card if you do have a question that requires follow-up. Anyone wishing to make comment? Let's come up to the podium and just state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Beth McCabe, and I live at 104 Shady Drive West. I'm here tonight to provide feedback on the strategic plan survey that the district recently conducted. And before I get into that, I wanted to provide some background about myself just to put things in context. I've lived in Mount Lebanon for the past 13 years with my husband, and we have 2 small children, one of which is in 1st grade at Washington. My family and I are actively engaged in the community. I'm part of the West PTA, where I serve as the chair of the Washington Elementary School Learning Garden. I also serve on the municipality's mobility board, and I'm one of the founding members of Move Lebo, a nonprofit dedicated to safer streets designed for people. I share all of this to demonstrate my level of investment in our community. I'm here to offer suggestions on ways we can collaborate to ensure our kids get to and from school safely, because I think prioritizing the safety of our children is something we can all agree upon. In regards to the strategic plan, I thought it was really well done, and I appreciated the effort that went into engaging the community. However, one critical area that the survey did not address is pedestrian safety. As a walking district, we are failing our children as they are forced to navigate extremely unsafe intersections and crosswalks. At present, many of the intersections along Cochrane, Washington, and Bower Hill are deadly for kids. I would venture to say that all of you sitting here tonight have your own close call story about crossing one of the streets in our neighborhood, or you probably know someone else who has. It's become the fodder for daily conversations, with each story more shocking than the last. This shouldn't be the norm in a community renowned for its walkability and where children are encouraged to walk to school. The municipality recently completed their comprehensive plan. As part of the plan, they spent thousands of dollars to conduct a survey to learn what residents want to see prioritized over the next 10 years. The number one request from residents is to improve and expand sidewalk networks and safe crossings. Despite these findings, pedestrian safety was not prioritized in the 2025 manager's recommended budget. In fact, the $130,000 slated for new sidewalk construction didn't even make it above the cut line. Neither did funding for increased patrol of school zones, pedestrian safety education, and adding more crossing guards. If the municipality isn't prioritizing funding for sidewalks and safe crossings, and the school district isn't focused on pedestrian safety issues, who is looking out for our children? It seems as though there is a disconnect between the municipality and the school district as to who is responsible for the safety of our children walking to and from school. To address this disconnect, I'd like to suggest the following. First, I would encourage everyone here tonight to review the 2025 manager's recommended budget and provide feedback by December 10th. Demand adequate funding for the installation of new sidewalks, installing more crosswalks, and enhancing existing crosswalks and red lights. Second, as the board, you all begin to create strategic plan focus groups, I would like to request that pedestrian safety be included as a key focus area. And finally, get to know Move Lebo. We're here to function as a resource to aid in collaboration between groups, and I would love to have the opportunity to provide you with more information about Move Lebo and to share ideas about how we can collaborate together. Thank you so much for your time and commitment to our community.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who wishes to provide comment? Or anyone online? No? Okay. All right, announcing upcoming public meetings. Next Monday, December 9th, 2024, at 7:30 PM, there will be a joint discussion and regular meeting here in room D205 of the Mount Lebanon High School, and public participation is also available via Zoom. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All right.